Hi everyone, Julia here, recording this October 1st, 2025. This year's just flown by, even though, man, it's been so interesting and so confusing because Jason of Archaics did say it would be the year of confusion. Definitely got that one right. And I have with me my friend James, also known as Dr. Jaun Forfar. and yeah, we had an incident between us. Go ahead and say hi, James.
Hi. Thank you for uh,
And
facilitating this, Julia.
Right. Kind of faded out a little bit there with your voice. James has his video off because
Ah,
of bandwidth, and same thing for me, but I always have my video off, so y'all are used to that. But anyway, we just wanted to let everyone know about an incident that happened and see if we can get a little bit of help for James here, or 144. And the situation was about almost a year and a half ago, my neighbor turned in that I had some Maria plants, and then I got the cops came over, took the plants, and told me I'll eventually go to court, but I still haven't heard anything. It's been, like I said, almost a year and a half since that happened. And then lo and behold, earlier this week, or I guess it's last week now, right? Last week, they show
yeah,
up where
exactly to
James
the
is
day.
living, right? So a week ago today, it was on Monday. Oh, it's Wednesday. Man, I'm tripping.
Wednesday, yeah.
It's Wednesday today. I don't know what I'm anyway, because it was the first, so I was thinking first day of the week. But so yeah, they show up at his place where he lives off grid in a future community. Right now, he and some cats are the only community members, but that could change at any moment. But they show up there. He had a few plants, and he didn't have any ID. So mostly because he didn't have the ID, he got to spend the night in jail. So now he
Yes.
already lives close to the bone, tries to make money, a little bit of money from his YouTube channel. He does tarot readings, he does mentoring, he does coaching, and I'll give all the details in this video. A lot of you that are listening to this might already know James because when I started my channel, he helped me build it up between him and Archaics. That's how it built up. And he had about the same amount of subs as I did, almost 3,000. And of course, now the cops also took his phone, which was his only device, so he can no longer get into his YouTube channel or his email or his Facebook. He got on Facebook Messenger, but he can't get on Facebook. And I'm sure some of y'all know how that goes. And if you get a new device and you try to sign into your account, it won't let you unless you can verify. Same thing happened with me when I went through this situation. So it can really be, man, just put you in a bind. And so now James has looked into getting a passport replaced from UK for a lost passport, but he's going to need some funds to do it. So we'll talk about that more at the end. If you find it in your heart to donate a little toward that, we need about 200 American dollars to cover everything. And you'll have a way to donate, which will probably be through my PayPal, right, James? Because you can't access your
Yeah,
PayPal now either, correct?
this is true
Right.
until I get
And
the
if
other
anybody
phone
does,
back.
right, and if anybody donates, what I'll do is I'll tell James who donated, give him your email so he can reply to you so you know for sure that he did get the money. So anyway, one of the things, there's so many lessons in this, and I'm gonna let James explain further. But he had been wanting things to change in his life. He'd been wanting a big pattern break because even though, like I said, he lives really close to the bone, he doesn't take a lot of money at all to survive. But, it was just getting tough on him to, always be on the YouTube channel trying to, get tarot readings or mentorship or his mystery school going. So he was like, I need something different. I need a new way to get revenue. And then this happened, and it is ultimately going to lead to where he'll be able to get basically Social Security services here once he has an ID, so he'll be able to get an income. So it's all going to work out in the end. And what I found the most intriguing is that James used to suffer panic attacks a lot. And when he got arrested, the cops, six people show up at his place. He didn't have a panic attack. So, anybody that has those kind of issues, that's definitely something he could help you with. But anyway, James, go ahead and just explain how you were kind of wanting things different and this happened. And another thing that's very intriguing is how positive his attitude has been through all this. So go ahead, James, and tell us how it all went down.
Well, it all started on the previous day, the Tuesday morning, where this younger guy and an older guy turned up saying they were estate agents. And I thought, you're not very good actors. I know you're GNR, the local police here. So this was not unexpected. It was just I was still in bed when they turned up on Wednesday morning, so it was before I'd had a coffee. I wasn't really with it. I did have the sensation of a panic attack coming on, but it's like, no, we're not letting this out. I'm in control of this because anybody who's had one will know what this like. It feels like you're drowning. You end up breathing faster and faster, and you end up gasping for air. And I thought, no, we're not going that way this time. It's this is just building on. About a month ago, I had a hernia, and I've overcome that. That came when we had that really hot weather where it's too hot to actually do much in the way of physical activities. So I ended up having to do a 5 hour walk back from Portimao. So I was very grateful that I didn't have the hernia a month later. Um, so there's anything that happens, we can readily see the negatives, but then we're in a realm where everything is contrast, night and day, hot and cold, uphill, downhill. Everything is cross comparison, one thing against another. So if you're faced with anything negative, also see that there is a positive. Now, I do take full responsibility for all that has happened with this because things couldn't go on the way they were. The Because of the algorithms, and I'm very much at the mercy of YouTube, the number of views has gone down and down and down. So it's like I can't do anything to change this directly, but I can in frequency by giving it to the universe and saying, uh, make it happen. And it will often come in the negative or what seems to be negative start with. And now it depends on whether we react from that negative state or whether we can stand back from the situation and stay neutral to it. And this, in some ways, is another prime example of being neutral because it's working within the parameters of the physical reality and with the unseen spiritual world, where sort of it's always about take the middle path. Anything you look at the theme is always take the middle path. So that is what I'm doing with this. Um, Not seeing it in the negative, oh no, I'm a victim. It's like this is happening for me, not to me. And I haven't actually got any complaints about the way I was treated. They're actually very good, very helpful. And subsequent, when I went to Monchique on Monday, I um I went into the GNR and they were very helpful. Looked things up on websites for me, got me phone numbers. Because I said to him, I said, from here, I've got three options as things stand. I can beg, borrow, or steal. Well, I don't really want to go begging because I'd probably get arrested for that. There's no point borrowing because how do I pay it back? And if I steal, I'm going to get in trouble as well. So it's like, what else can I do? So it's like give it to the universe, and it will provide the answer. And to me, this is just it's about pattern recognition. So though most people don't remember it, there's a time in your life where you're sitting in a high chair, you're seeing your parents or your siblings walking, and you want to be able to do it. And of course, you take that first step and you fall over because the soul hasn't mastered the vehicle it's in, the avatar. It's all that learning process you have to go through. And it's the same pattern in everything in life. It's repeat, repeat, and repeat until it becomes second nature. So over this sort of 2.5 year period, it's been building and building where the situation doesn't change, but how we feel about it changes inside. It no longer becomes just something we see in a negative way. It it comes down to having that feeling inside that the universe has got your back. And it will present things initially in what can seem very negative or very cruel ways. I've heard plenty of testimonies from people. Uh, one case in particular, the person involved wanted to move, and on the day of moving, they ended up with a broken ankle, so it prevented them from moving. So I would take from that that the universe has a plan, or God has a plan, if whatever way you want to see it, because we're only seeing it from an inside perspective. We're not seeing the sort of bigger picture to it, and we obviously can't see into the future. But it's how whether we react or respond determines the path we then take. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep, and you did a really good job of responding and not just reacting and panicking and freaking out. And
Well, it's a waste of energy as much as anything else. But I've I'm building up a lovely portfolio through experience, and I'm coming from the position not like a lot of these channels of that seems strangely to have thousands and thousands of subscribers and views of um, imagination creates reality, and then the background is they've got basically a show house and all the material comforts. I'm doing this from a position of I'm still going through it. I'm still perfecting the best version of myself, as it were. So I've overcome panic attacks, I've overcome depression and anxiety. All three of those are a kind of rabbit hole. If you fall into them, they're very difficult to get out of. I managed to do it without any external help because I didn't know where to even look for external help for those. I can add to that the hernia. I can add having falls and concussion and coming out the other side stronger and better and wiser for it. So it's like, what's the next thing the universe is going to bring, as it were? Because we're basically like in a game. Well, it's every game you can think of. So it could be snakes and ladders. So you'll progress upwards, then you might fall down a snake, or you might find a ladder. But we're what we're taking away from this is the experience. We're here. The way I see it, this is a diagnostic zone. Nobody wants to die agnostic because that means you haven't found out who you are. Um, so the experiences make you stronger. That And from what I see, the way things are going to go between 2040 and 2046, these are still baby steps. And the journey is very much like climbing a mountain. Sometimes you'll get to a ledge, you can rest for a little bit, but you can't stay there. It's like keep going, keep going, keep going. Um, like the whole idea of Jupiter, it's about expansion. And as much as anything else, when things are going well, we can stagnate and become complacent. So it's nice to have a challenge thrown our way every now and again because it then helps expand us even further.
right,
And
challenges are
I,
how you grow, and mistakes are lessons. So it is all good.
yeah,
It's
oh
all
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And
It
I knew something happened with James because I watch his YouTube channel and he hadn't put out a video in like 5 days, and he puts one out at least every 3 days or so. So I was like, something must be up. So I went over there and sure enough, but you know, and he was kind of thinking, well, he knew that I would come there eventually too, because I live about 25 minutes away or so. And everything just always works out right when he needed. I got him another phone, so now he can get back in things. So on this video, we'll put all the links to how to get in touch with James, his new YouTube channel link, and his email and his Facebook Messenger. So if anyone wants to reach him, and yeah, and you can look at his old channel to see what he's about if you don't already know. So I will link that as well in the description. But and he also offers tarot card readings, right, James?
Yeah, yeah. I've had some very good feedback. It helps if I know absolutely nothing about the other person. So w the way I read the tarot cards, it's something in the artwork in the cards because art is imagination, it is creation. There is some energy from the artist that is put into the artwork, and that seems to come through. And they've been very accurate, the readings from the feedback I've had so far.
Right,
And it's donation on a donation only basis. But if anybody is really stuck, I wouldn't turn them away. I'm not turning anybody away. No exclusions.
right, right. So if anyone wants any of these kinds of things, you can reach out to James, and if you're willing to donate a little bit toward getting him his new passport so he can get on with his life, that would be awesome. And I'll put all the links in the description. I don't want to stay on here too long because
Yeah.
we know how our attention spans have all shrunk these days, mine included. And just wanted to get the word out there. Anyone, I know some of you do know James. So, yeah, just want to help a brother out here and get him
Thank you.
back, get him back to where, he's back in the system somewhat. Sometimes you do need those IDs. If we already had the digital IDs, you probably wouldn't need any of this,
Yeah.
ironically. But yeah, and all the stuff that's going on in the world now is just crazy. It's just good to watch it all as a show, an objective observer, don't get, you know, tangled in it emotionally, and just enjoy the show and enjoy the ride.
This is it.
Anyone?
It there's it's almost there's something in the unseen that feeds on low vibration energy. And if you look at a lot of the stories, and they're all stories that are put out that we don't know if they're true or not. We're just given an image with a caption, and the caption may be very misleading, but it is all to get you to react. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people, and I've witnessed this firsthand, who try and take shortcuts where they know deep down they're not happy with anything, but they've never done any shadow work. So they turn to alcohol or they turn to cocaine or Valium or heroin. And when has there ever been a success story? It just becomes an addiction and they fall further and further deeper into a hole. Ultimately, it it is only oneself that can pull yourself out of these things. But I'm reaching out a hand to help anybody that has fallen into a hole. And it's like, look, I've gone through this, like with the anxiety and things, and I can help guide them. But these things take time. It's not going to be an overnight transformation, although it can be. The more you can adopt the right methods, you can pull yourself out a lot quicker. But the value is in the experience of going through it. It's like you could read 100 books on how to drive a car until you actually get in a car and experience it and feel what it's like. How, is the steering heavy? Is it light? How much pressure do I need to put on the foot brake? All these things you're not going to know from a book. It is only through going through the experience. So that is another pattern to this life experience between birth and death to see it in that way. And it then, because everything is perspective. So from this material perspective, I have amnesia. From the spiritual perspective, I'm a walking soul. The result is exactly the same. It's a blank canvas. I've had people ask me about doing past life regressions or where they've got gaps in the memory, things have happened, and it's look, the brain has shut that off for a very good reason. If you could open up a Pandora's box, if you have those memories brought back. So, say for example, it was being involved in a car crash, and you go through a windscreen. Most people will remember being in the car. The next thing they remember is being in hospital. So the brain will blank that out, which is a good thing because it's horrific, same as birth and death. This is why most people
Right,
don't have memories of them.
right. But I think the key that you pointed out earlier is to respond and not react to whatever's
Yeah.
going on. So that's the
Well,
bottom line.
you've only got to look at ambulances and things. They're emergency response units. There's a big clue in that. They're not reactionary units.
Right. There you go. An example from the
Yeah.
matrix. All right, James, we'll go ahead and end it here. I'll put all the
Okay.
links in the
Thank you very much.
description for
Thank you.
everyone. And I hope y'all have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Remember to stay focused on what you want, how you'd like things to be. Of course, help others if you can. Here's an opportunity. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Ciao, ciao.